Hi, this is Derek here, about to do a review for one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It's called Prometheus. It came out in June of 2012. It was meant to be the 5th installment of the Aliens franchise. It was directed by Ridley Scott, the guy who made the original Aliens, and man, has he fallen from grace. Don't know what to say about this except to really sort of just dive into it. Before I do, though, I just want to make a mention that this is a review for HorrorNerds.com, one of my favorite places in the whole world. I've been lurking on here for a while now, and I love it, and hopefully this review will help you never, ever, ever to either buy the DVD or go see this movie in a dollar theater, because it's not even worth that much. So you might be thinking, why the heck does he hate it? I mean, after all, what a great cast this has. You have everyone from, Charlize Theron, who plays a very wonderfully wicked persona of a person that is just unbelievably mean, to the original girl with the dragon tattoo. Her first name is Numi. I don't want to even try to pronounce the last name because I don't want to do her disrespect. You have also a couple other people of note, namely Guy Pearce, and of course Michael Fassbender, who had a wonderful showing in recent years with particularly a movie I'm thinking about is Shame, and Shame does know your name. Also Idris Elba, who we all know as Stringer Bell from The Wire, and if you haven't seen The Wire, then you wouldn't know who Idris Elba is, and that's, shame on you. Anyways, this movie basically is dealing with a group of scientists and such that find a series of star maps that lead them to possibly discover how humans all got on Earth. It's set a little bit into the future, and it deals with a higher class of individuals known as engineers. I say higher class because it seems that they are much more advanced than we all are, and so they go on search for these individuals, hoping to find answers for life and things of that nature. What happens is, of course, a complete nightmare. Things end up going terribly awry, people start dying, the whole shebang. If you've seen this movie, then you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to spend precious time here going into the actual plot synopsis. I'm just going to assume you've seen the movie, and I'm going to give you a few very good reasons why you should never watch this film. Number one, the plot holes. There's just too many. I mean, I don't even need to even get into it, because really the plot holes are such that, the engineers are on this place, but, why are they so hostile to us? You would think they would be happy to see their, their predecessors or the people that they've created or we've come from, whatever the case may be. It still was unclear at that point, but they're hostile. They want to destroy the world of Earth with their dark liquid, but it just seems completely counterproductive to the whole point of why they existed in the first place. An even bigger problem, because that's just one of many plot holes, is the logic. There's so little logic in this film that well, let me put it to you one way. If logic in this film were a t-shirt you were wearing, it would cover exactly one nipple. I know that's a weird analogy, but it's very accurate for this film, because that's how ridiculous it is. A ridiculous analogy for a ridiculous film. Basically, the main plot problems I had as far as logic goes is when Shaw was getting, prepared to have the alien creature excised from her stomach. She was on a table, and two people were trying to help her get into that mode, or I should say help. That's sort of too nice of a word. They were preparing to take it out against her will. So what does she do? She jumps up, she just literally pushes them, and she runs exactly 10 feet to the surgery room with the crazy surgery contraption, and we all know what happens next. Probably the only part of the movie that was actually cool. But even then, these people didn't think to just follow her. I mean, she pushed them that hard that they couldn't go grab her. Why not inject her with something that would actually keep her from moving? Why not put her in handcuffs, for Christ's sake, if you were going to do that? Another thing is too, when she actually got that out, she was able to just move around like it was no problem. I'm sorry, but I've had my appendix taken out, and just my appendix, I couldn't move for a week. And she had a whole alien that she ripped out of her stomach taken out. So even with the high-tech science fiction component, it was highly unrealistic she'd even be walking. And the minute she got out of it, she was bending over, she was walking around. I mean, yeah, she acted the part like she was hurt, but let's be honest. I mean, come on, she'd have been bedridden for at least a month. The other part that really bothered me was, having Stringer Bell crash the little ship into the massive engineer ship. There were more than enough escape pods. Him and his crew could have just hit autopilot and ran it right into it. I mean, the thing was big enough. I don't think they would have missed. And yet, in order to get rid of characters, what did they do? They killed him off, and they killed everyone else so we could have a nice confrontation between Charlize Theron and Shaw, which, of course, the ship landed on Charlize as if she couldn't run away enough or go in a different direction. I mean, again, another gaping logic there that just didn't work for me. And then on top of that, if that wasn't bad enough, you have all these things happening. You had about, a ton of characters just get randomly murdered by another character who we thought was left for dead. And, when he took a face dive into the pool of black liquid inside the engineer's ship, he just comes around, kills everyone, and then we kill him. Again, the plot, it was just written terribly. It was almost like we had to do this in order to allow for the plot to move on with this least amount of characters and fitting with the horror genre of let's get rid of everyone until our main characters are left. But then again, the worst part of this was it was written by Damon Lindelof, the guy who, completely botched Lost and promised us that we would have answers to that show, and in the end took the easy way out. And it's sad but true, he did the same thing here. He took the easy way out, killed off a bunch of characters, had no rhyme or reason to it, and left us with a jumbled but beautiful looking mess of a movie. Kind of like Lost, and a very fitting word to describe this film. Don't go see it. It's not worth your time. Prometheus is a waste of space in this world. I can only hope that if there's a sequel, there might be some salvation. I can think of one way to start. Don't get Lindelof to write it. That's my review for HorrorNerds.com. Check out all the other great reviews here. And thanks. You've been great.